With the 2021-22 NBA season now well past its halfway point, teams are finally starting to shine through. And unfortunately for Laker fans, Los Angeles isn't one of them. That being said, things might be changing in the coming days, with headlines suggesting a pretty sound strategy moving forward. So what exactly are the Los Angeles Lakers planning? And can this actually save them in time? Stay tuned. First of all, let's talk about the rumors that have surfaced around the Lakers. For those of you who need a reminder, Los Angeles has always been one of the best teams in the NBA, housing legends like Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But in recent years, things have been a bit tough for the squad. In the current season, the Lakers are just 21-22, which puts them down as the 9th seed overall in the Western Conference. Not exactly what you'd expect from a team that has won more championships than we could count. So how exactly can the Lakers make an impact on the season from here? Well, rumors suggest that the Los Angeles Lakers will be looking to trade sometime soon, with its scope set on players like Ben Simmons and Jerami Grant. At least that's what the plan was prior to the mediocre season they've had, and according to experts, the Lakers now find themselves between a rock and a hard place. You see, the team might not actually have enough financial backing available to swoop up these players in the upcoming trade period. According to Pincus of Bleacher Report, this isn't the end of the line for the Lakers though, as there are other useful players they might be able to pick up for what remains in the piggy bank. He was of course referring to Terrence Ross and Gordon, who have already expressed an interest in moving to the Los Angeles-based team. Everyone wants to live in the City of Angels after all. But will the addition of Ross and Gordon actually achieve anything in the long run? This is hard to say without knowing how the players will actually fit into the Lakers, as team composition is just as important as anything else. Both Ross and Gordon are guards that have the ability to create their own shots and score from quite far out. And since scoring has been a problematic aspect of the past few Los Angeles games, this could be something that the head coach takes into consideration. That being said, the Lakers need more support right now than anything else. Players like LeBron James and Anthony Davis are absolute masters of the court, and all Los Angeles actually needs is for other players to draw the competition and create space for James and Davis to make a shot. And if the defensive structure of the other team chooses to instead stick to James and Davis like white on rice, these new players will have to score on their own whilst out in the open. On the surface, it really does sound like both Ross and Gordon will be a perfect fit for what is needed in Los Angeles. But like we said before, this is based on nothing more than just rumors. We don't know if the strategy is a viable one being considered by the coaching staff. We guarantee you this though, the Lakers need something to change if they want a chance at making it through to the playoffs, and this trade is definitely their best move going forward. In other news, the 2022 NBA All-Star Game starters have finally been announced. And if you haven't heard the announcement just yet, you may be a tad surprised at who's been given a chance. First of all, LeBron James of the Lakers is going to be returning to Cleveland, where he has been awarded the position of All-Star Game captain. But accompanying him will be the characters of Ja Morant and Andrew Wiggins, who will be both heading to the All-Star court for the first time ever. Unsurprisingly, Stephen Curry of the Golden State Warriors will also be making an appearance and wowing the crowd with his spectacular three-pointers, while MVP Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets will no doubt be supporting him in his endeavors. With the Western Conference just about done, selectors then looked towards the Eastern Conference and found none other than Kevin Durant, who will be accompanied by some of the biggest names on his side of the court. These include Giannis Antetokounmpo and Joel Embiid in the front court, with Trae Young and DeMar DeRozan just behind him. With both James and Durant set to captain their respective squads, it feels like the February 20th game is going to be one to remember, especially with this being the 18th time in total that LeBron James has been chosen as the captain of his respective squad. And with Durant's availability being somewhat in doubt after he suffered a sprained knee ligament, it sounds like this matchup is going to be a dramatic one at the very least. That being said, not everyone was happy after these starters were announced. In fact, there were quite a few calls of WTF when Andrew Wiggins was selected for the squad. According to broader NBA fan bases, this was a ridiculous selection, which had to be steeped in politics and nepotism considering how bad Wiggins has been this season. And according to fans, there were other players that deserved the position far more than he did. One Twitter user took to the social platform to express his frustration, exclaiming that Wiggins should never have been chosen over Paul George George of the Los Angeles Clippers. Another fan simply stated, "Wiggins is an all-star starter? Oh, you gotta be kidding me." But it wasn't just the fans who had something to say. Grant Liffman also made a pretty good point by stating that the Warriors were able to trade D'Lo for both Wiggins and Kuminga, which shows that Wiggins doesn't exactly have the value of an all-star player. Mark Deeks also chimed in by saying that he isn't even convinced that Wiggins is the best small forward on the Golden State Warriors. So, why exactly was the small forward chosen over and above these other players? Well, we honestly don't know. Maybe the selectors wanted someone alongside Stephen Curry who knew his game inside out. That's about the only reasonable explanation, well, we could think of, but not even that argument would choose to stand in court, as there are many great supporters to choose from. Either way, the decision has been made. In more cheerful news, a statue of Kobe Bryant and his daughter has been revealed. And since it feels like just yesterday that his fateful helicopter crash rocked the world, fans couldn't be happier that the legendary player has been immortalized. For those of you who don't know, it was back in January of 2020 that Kobe Bryant was involved in a helicopter crash that took the life of him and his daughter. As such, a sculpture of the incredible man and his daughter, Gianna, had been laid down at the crash site where they both perished. According to reports, the statue is made of a bronze composite and weighs around 73 kilograms. It depicts Gianna holding onto her father's hand while he rests on her shoulder, a pose they were known to do on the odd occasion before the horrific accident. The statue is also set on an important pedestal, which has the names of all 9 victims of the crash engraved upon it. Finally, one of Bryant's most famous quotes can be seen, which perfectly sums up the type of man he'll be remembered as. In broad lettering, the quote reads, "Heroes come and go, but legends are forever." When asked about the point of the statue, sculptor Dan Medina said it was his hope that the image of Bryant and his daughter would not just pay tribute to the NBA star, but help his family and friends mourn his loss. In other words, this was more than a statue. It was an attempt to start the healing process. Last but not least, it sounds like Jordan and Pippen are far beyond reconciliation. At least that's what Charles Oakley believes after hearing from the two legendary players. You see, when Michael Jordan's documentary The Last Dance graced our television screens, Scottie Pippen discovered that he was made the villain of the story. And now he can't stop bringing up Jordan every chance he gets by slinging some of his own attacks in the hope that fans won't leave him by the wayside. When appearing on the Bill Simmons podcast, though, Charles Barkley went on to say that he doesn't believe his former teammates will ever talk to one another again. The hurt just seems to be too deep, which is crazy considering how long ago this all happened. In the end, it's a battle of pride, with Scottie Pippen feeling like he's been pushed to the side of Michael Jordan's glorified position. But in the end, you have to stay professional. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the NBA headlines currently making the rounds. What do you think about the All-Star team selection though? And what are your feelings on the Lakers' future moving forward? Feel free to let us know in the comments section down below.